I'm tracing the patterns of the moonlight on the wall, waiting for a shadow that I know isn't there at all. I stay on my side, tucked against the very edge, like I'm balanced on the bricks of a crumbling ledge. The sheets are too smooth, they haven't been stirred. The air is too heavy with the things we never heard. I reach out a hand just to find a little heat, but I only find the cotton and the smell of the retreat. The clock on the desk is a hammer on a nail, beating out a rhythm that is destined to fail. I'm staring at the pillow where your head used to lay, wishing I could sleep the ghost of you away. And it's midnight in an empty bed, with a million what ifs running through my head. The mattress is a map of where we used to go, but now it's just a valley where the bitter winds blow. I'm drowning in the space that you left behind, searching for a comfort that I'll never quite find. God, the silence is a monster that I've learned to dread. When it's midnight in an empty bed, I remember how the gravity would pull us to the center, how the winter felt like summer every time you'd enter. Now the springs don't creak and the frame doesn't moan. It's a terrifying thing to be this much alone. I've got the heater on high, got the blankets piled deep, but there's a cold in my spirit that won't let me sleep. I'm listening for the covers to rustle or slide, but there's nobody left on the other side. Should I move to the middle? Should I take up a space? Should I buy new linen just to hide at every trace? But the dent in the foam is a scar I can't heal, and the emptiness is the only thing that feels real. Half a heart in a king-size dark.
Sitting on the sofa where we used to fit so tight, before the space between us turned to shadow in the night. I look down at my palms, resting open on my knees, and I'm haunted by the ghost of all our shared realities. I remember the curve of your waist, the weight of your skin, the way my fingers knew exactly where yours would begin. Now I'm just an architect of a house that fell apart, measuring the vacancy with a heavy broken heart. It's only 18 inches from my left palm to my right, but it feels like a canyon in the middle of the light. I try to close the gap, I try to hold the air, but I'm just grabbing on to the fact that you aren't there. And oh, the distance between my hands is a mile. I'm missing the bridge of your touch and your smile. I used to hold your world right here in my grip. Now I'm just watching the memories slip. It's a hollow shaped ache, it's a wide open sea, the space where you were and where I used to be. I'm reaching for a phantom in a lonely, lonely land, lost in the distance between my hands. I went to cup my face like you did when I would cry, but I couldn't find the comfort no matter how I tried. My own skin felt like stone, my own touch felt like glass, just a cold vibration letting the minutes pass. I remember holding your head while you drifted off to sleep, a sacred kind of promise that I thought we'd always keep. Now my arms are just two shorelines with no water in between, the quietest disaster that the world has ever seen. I could fold them in a prayer, I could clench them in a fist, but they'll never find the version of the us that doesn't exist. I'm stretching out my fingers, I'm reaching through the dark, but there's no more fire and there's no more spark. Just space. Just space. Yeah, the distance between my hands is a mile. I'm missing the bridge of your touch and your smile. I used to hold your world right here in my grip. Now I'm just watching the memories slip. It's a hollow shaped ache, it's a wide open sea, the space where you were and where I used to be. I'm reaching for a phantom in a lonely, lonely land, lost in the distance between my hands. One hand, two, searching for you. I'll bring them together. I'll clap for the end of the lover I lost in the ghost of a friend. Nothing bare, nothing but air. Whitney's with the slow atmosphere acoustic, or piano driven ballad in mind, focusing on the distance that grows between two people, even when they're still trying to talk. Static on the line, I'm staring at the glow of a cracked glass screen, waiting for a ghost or a word in between. The silence is heavy, it's a weight in my chest. I'm dialing your number, put my pride to the test, but the ringing just echoes this empty room, like a funeral march for a love in its tomb. I hear the click, I hold my breath, wondering if there's anything left. But before you can speak, before I can try, the air turns cold and the signal goes dry. Now it's just static on the line, humming in my ear, cutting through the words that you're too afraid to hear. We're breaking up in pieces, we're fading out of sight, two frequencies lost in the middle of the night. I'm reaching for your hand, but I'm catching white noise. I've lost the melody, I'm losing your voice. Just static on the line, just static on the line. We're running out of time. You used to be crystal, you used to be clear. I could find my way home just by having you near. But now there's a flicker, a glitch in the soul, a story half written that's lost its control. I ask if you love me, I wait for the spark, but I'm met with a crackle that tears through the dark. I hear your breath, a shallow sound, like a bridge falling down to the frozen ground. I say I'm sorry, but the connection is weak. The sound from my eyes is the only thing that speaks, and it's just static on the line, humming in my ear, cutting through the words that you're too afraid to hear. We're breaking up in pieces, we're fading out of sight, two frequencies lost in the middle of the night. I'm reaching for your hand, but I'm catching white noise. I've lost the melody, I'm losing your voice. Just static on the line. Maybe the wires are frayed from the storm. Maybe we're just too tired to keep each other warm. I'm shouting, don't hang up into the void, watching the ghost of the life we destroyed. Can you hear me? Are you there? But the wind is the only one who seems to care. The screen goes black, the home fades out. I'm left with the weight of every redoubt. But there was a whisper I couldn't quite define. Now it's just static, nothing but static. On the line. I let the keys rattle a little too long, like a noisy intro to a broken song. I stepped inside and I held my breath in a silence that feels like a quiet death. I said, hey, I'm home, to the coat on the hook, to the empty space and the unread book. I waited for the echo of your feet on the floor, but I'm just talking to the wood of the door. It's a dangerous game, this make-believe, trying to trick the heart into not having to grieve. But the air is thin and the walls are high, and I'm getting no answer from the how or the why. And I'm the only voice in the hallway now, trying to remember the who and the how. I'm whispering secrets to the shadows on the wall, waiting for a reply that'll never come at all. It used to be a chorus, it used to be a harmony. Now it's just the sound of a ghost of me. Yeah, the silence is a mountain I can't quite climb, when I'm the only voice in the hallway this time. I went to the kitchen to pour me a glass, watching the ghost of the afternoons pass. I asked the window if it's going to rain, just to hear a sound that isn't my pain. I'm narrating my life like a film in the dark, searching for a flicker, searching for a spark. But my words just fall like dust on the rug. I'm a dying fire that needs a hug. Are you there? Do you hear me? Was it something I said? I'm shouting at the things that we left unread. The loudest sound in this whole damn place is the lack of your breath and the lack of your face. Still talking. to the floor. Maybe tomorrow I won't talk anymore. Just me, just the hall, just the silence. After all, I walked past the hall mirror late last night, and for a second the reflection felt right. But then the light flickered, the shadows got tall, and I realized I'm not in this house at all. There's a cup on the counter with a stain at the brim from the last time I laughed while I looked at him. Now the coffee is cold and the silence is loud. I'm just a shape lost in a heavy gray cloud. I'm checking the windows, I'm locking the doors, but I'm looking for someone who isn't here anymore. It's not just your voice that I'm trying to find, it's the version of me that I left far behind. Oh, I'm missing the room ghost tonight, the girl who stood steady in the morning light, the one who knew how to love without shaking before all the promises started their breaking. You took the best of me when you walked out that door. Now I'm haunting the rooms where I lived once before. I'm a stranger in my skin, I'm a hollowed out ghost. God, I'm tired of missing my own ghost.
I found an old photo in a drawer by the bed, with a look in my eyes that I can't quite reread. That person was brave, that person was whole. They hadn't yet learned how a heart pays a toll. Now I move through the grocery store aisles like a breath, living a life that feels closer to death. I reach for your hand, then I reach for my own, and I realize we both left me here all alone.
Can you mourn someone who's still breathing? Can you find what was lost in the leaving? I'm screaming at echoes that won't say a word. The most painful goodbye is the one that's unheard. I want myself back, I just want myself back. I'm missing my own ghost tonight, the one who stood steady in the morning light, the one who knew how to love without shaking before all the promises started their breaking. You took the best of me when you walked out that door. Now I'm haunting the rooms where I lived once before. I'm a stranger in my skin, I'm a hollowed out ghost. God, I'm tired of missing my own ghost. The lights are all off, but I'm still in the hall, waiting for a shadow to lean against the wall. just a flicker, just a spark, just a ghost in the dark. I'm measuring the distance from the pillow to the floor, tracing out the angles of the shadow by the door. I used to know the logic of the light across your face, but now I'm just a surveyor of an unmapped hollow space. The rugs have been lifted, the curtains pulled away, and the math of being lonely is the only thing that stays. Four walls 90 degrees and a ceiling made of lead, calculated silence in the place we used to bed. I'm dividing up the memories, trying to find the sum of how two people became zero, how we both became so numb. The square footage is the same, or so the blueprints say, but it feels like miles of desert since the day you went away. There's a formula for longing, there's a physics to the grief, a calculation of the fall, the turning of the leaf. I'm standing in the center where the lines all intersect, but there's no symmetry in a heart that's been wrecked. That's the geometry of empty rooms, mapping out the wreckage and the cold, quiet glooms. The volume of the absence is more than I can bear. I'm breathing in the decimals of stale and vacant air. Every corner is a sharp edge, every hallway is a ghost. I'm a stranger in the house where I used to be the host. Just circles in the dust and a heart in the tombs, lost in the geometry of empty rooms. If A is for the always and B is for the by, then X is for the reason that you never told me why. I'm plotting out the coordinates of where we lost the spark. 2 points on a graph drifting further in the dark. The area of sadness is expanding through the hole, and I'm just a tiny number written on a crumbling wall. They say a straight line is the shortest way to go, from the love that we nurtured to the pain that I now know. But I'm trapped in a spiral, a recurring decimal, feeling so giant yet feeling so small. The architecture's perfect, but the soul has moved out, and the only thing that's structural is the weight of my doubt. With time step times height equals one more floor where the sun hits the wood, waiting for the outlines like I know I should. But the light feels different. It's thin and it's pale like a flickering candle behind a gray veil. Usually there's a border, a clear place to stand between the dark of the heart and the work of the hand. But since you've been gone, the edges have blurred, and I can't tell the living apart from the dead. It's a fog in the kitchen, a smudge on the glass, a ghost in the mirror that refuses to pass. I'm reaching for something I used to define, but I can't find the border or the bottom of the line. And I'm living in shadows with no shape tonight, just a blur in the corner of my own fading light. I don't have a silhouette, I don't have a name, just a cold kind of spirit and a slow burning shame. You were the sun that gave me my form. You were the center that kept me so warm. Now I'm just a spill on a landscape of gray, a shadow with no shape, drifting away. I tried to explain it to a friend on the phone, how the silence feels heavy like a mountain of stone. But it's hard to describe a pain you can't see when the you that I lost was the best part of me. I walk through the park and I watch people bloom, while I'm just a smudge in a hollowed out room. I'm a footprint in water, I'm smoke in the wind, the end of the story before we begin. If there's no light, then there's no dark. If there's no flame, then there's no spark. I'm caught in the middle, in the in-between, the saddest thing I have ever been. Give me back my corners, give me back my frame. I'm tired of being a ghost with no living in shadows with no shape tonight, just a blur in the corner of my own fading light. I don't have a silhouette, I don't have a name, just a cold kind of spirit and a slow burning shame. You were the sun that gave me my form. You were the center that kept me so warm. Now I'm just a spill on a landscape of gray, a shadow with no shape, drifting away. The sun's going down, the walls are all black, and I'm still waiting for my edges to come back. No shape, no form, just a shadow in the storm. Screen is too bright for a room this dark. I'm looking for a signal, looking for a spark. I wipe the contact, I cleared the name, told my friends I was done with the game. But my thumb knows the rhythm, it knows the code. It's a well-worn path on a lonely road. 3 digits in and my heart starts to swell. A secret my pride is too stubborn to tell. I'm hovering over that green circle light, the only thing glowing in the middle of the night. My brain says forget it, my blood says just try. I'm a slave to a ghost and a permanent goodbye. And I'm dialing numbers I deleted again, searching for a lover in a house full of rain. I'm punching in the digits like a prayer to the sky, even though I know there's no hello on the fly. It's a phantom vibration, it's a glitch in my soul. I'm losing my grip and I'm losing control, staring at the keypad till my vision gets blurred, waiting for a voice that I shouldn't have heard. I imagine the ringtone on your nightstand. Does your heart skip a beat? Does it get out of hand? Or did you block me out like a static-filled station? Am I just a ghost in your communication? I remember the area code, the 4 and the 2, the sequence of symbols that leads me to you. I've erased the history, I've emptied the trash, but the memory is burned like a cigarette ash. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm standing at a digital door. 5, 6, 7, 8. Is it too early or is it too late? I hit call and I hang up before it can go through. I'm terrified of silence, and I'm terrified of you. Yeah, I'm dialing numbers I deleted again, searching for a lover in a house full of rain. I'm punching in the digits like a prayer to the sky, even though I know there's no hello on the fly. It's a phantom vibration, it's a glitch in my soul. I'm losing my grip and I'm losing control, staring at the keypad till my vision gets blurred, waiting for a voice that I shouldn't have heard. 0, nothing on the line, I'm not okay, but I'm saying I'm fine. Lock the screen, put it face down, the loneliest signal in the whole damn The hostess gives that look, one of quiet pity, as the neon rain falls down upon the city. I don't even have to say it, she already knows the view, the corner by the window where I used to sit with you. She picks up 2 menus, then she puts one back aside and leads me to the hollow space where all my secrets hide. The candle's getting shorter, the wax is like a tear, tracing circles on the linen, wishing you were here. I'm practicing my I'm fine face for anyone who looks, but I'm just a tragic chapter in a shelf of dusty books. The waiter brings the water, sets the glass across the space, and for a split second I think I see your face. The silverware is heavy, the wine is tasting sour. I've been staring at the door for the better part of an hour, but the bell never jingles, the shadow never falls, just the sound of my own heartbeat bouncing off the walls. Back to a table for one, again making an enemy out of an old friend. I thought we cleared the dishes, I thought the bill was paid, but here I am sitting in the mess that we both made. It's a lonely kind of rhythm, a solitary dance, the ghost of a lover, the sting of a chance, just me and the shadow of what we could have been at a table for one again. I ordered your favorite just to keep the ghost alive. A little bit of masochism helps me to survive. The chair across from me is leaning back in style, gaping like a mouth that forgot how to smile. I'm checking my reflection in the back of a silver spoon while the stars look down on a lonely afternoon. I'm tired of the special, I'm tired of the wine, I'm tired of telling people that I'm doing just fine. The hardest part of leaving, it's in war. just one. Always just one. The metal door slides shut with a heavy sigh. 12 strangers staring at the numbers going by. Shoulder to shoulder, we're all breathing the same air. But nobody's looking, and nobody's really there. The woman to my left has a wedding ring that glows. The man in the suit is checking his watch, I suppose. And I'm just a ghost in a denim jacket sleeve, trying to remember how it felt to never want to leave. The floor indicator dings a lonely little bell, a different stop for every story we don't tell. The world is so loud, pressing in on my skin, but it's nothing compared to the quiet within. In crowded elevators and quiet minds, I'm looking for a version of us I'll never find. Surrounded by the static and the rushing of the feet, but I'm the only person on this miserable street. You're gone, and the silence is a deafening roar. Even as I'm pushed against the back of the door, it's 1,000 people passing, but I'm still behind, lost in the hallways of a quiet mind. Floor 24, and the light starts to blink. I've got 10 more seconds before I have to think about the empty apartment and the keys in the bowl, and the way that your absence is taking its toll. Someone asked me, excuse me, as they push to the front, and I give them the sorry that they probably want. But my voice sounds like paper, thin and so dry, a hollow reflection of a permanent goodbye. Why does the air feel thinner when there's people around? Why does the gravity pull me straight to the ground? I'm screaming in the lobby, but I'm standing perfectly still. If the loneliness doesn't break me, then the memories will. Up and down, but never moving, lost and found, but always losing. In crowded elevators and quiet minds, I'm looking for a version of us I'll never find. Surrounded by the static and the rushing of the feet, but I'm the only person on this miserable street. Gone, and building. Wallpaper's peeling in the corner of the room, chasing patterns in the shadows in the afternoon gloom. I've memorized the cracks, I've named every stain, trying to find a rhythm to muffle the pain. I used to count the minutes until you'd walk through the door, but I don't keep track of the hours anymore. Now I'm just staring at the structure of this place, searching for the mortar that could fill your empty space. They say that time is a healer, but time is just a stone, and it's getting heavy sitting here alone. I'm building a monument out of the used to be's, down on my spirit, down on my knees. But I'm just counting bricks in the wall tonight, waiting for the sun to give up on the light. One for the silence, two for the cold, three for the stories that'll never be told. We're stacking up the stories and the way we used to touch. How could something so solid hurt this much? I'm a prisoner of a love that didn't stick, just fading away while I'm counting every breath. I wonder if you're out there building something new, with windows that the light can actually get through, while I'm stuck in the masonry of everything we lost, counting up the damage and calculating the cost. The drywall is cold when I lean my head back. I'm listening for a heartbeat through a hairline crack, but the foundation is shaking, the ceiling is low, and I've got nowhere left for a ghost to go. I could break a window, I could kick down the door, but I'm scared of what the world looks like without you anymore. So I'll stay in the ruins, I'll stay in the gray, adding one more row to the wall every fact that you're still not here. 7, 8, it's getting late. Just one more break. Just one more. The walls are painted in the color of goodbye. 4 corners of a memory under a ceiling 10 feet high. I've walked the same floorboards until the wood is thin, tracing the outline of where you used to begin. There's no window here, just a screen behind my eyes, playing back the footage of our long and slow demise. I'm serving a sentence for a crime I didn't mean, stuck in the static of a black and silver screen. They say the door is open, they say I'm free to go, but they don't see the I can't see the sun. I can't see the stars. Just the walls, just the bed, just the ghost of you. Slamming shut. I'm walking through the hallways over my head. You passed all the I love yous that we never said. There are volumes of glances and chapters of stares tucked away in the corners and under the chairs. I used to think quiet was a peaceful thing, a soft kind of velvet, a bird with no wing. But now it's a ceiling that's starting to drop, and I'm living in a story that won't ever stop. It's the quiet after the door hit the frame. It's the quiet that took the place of your name. I'm the only patron in this hollowed out room, reading the labels of my own quiet doom. And I'm lost in a library of silences tonight, searching for a word in the dim, dusty light. Rows of the almost and the could have beens, bound up in leather and original sins. You left me the innings, but you took all the sound, and I'm buried in the pages that I finally found. It's a heavy collection, it's a beautiful violence to be trapped in a library of silences. There's a shelf for the mornings we spent in the kitchen, where the air was so thick and the longing was itching, and a whole different section for the late night retreats, when the only thing talking was the pull of the sheets. I take down a book and I open it wide, but there isn't a single ink mark inside, just the white of the paper and the weight of the air, the most honest testimony of why you're not there. Can you hear it? The scream of the space, the way that the static is taking your place. I'm cataloging heartbreaks, I'm sorting the tears. I've got enough silence to last me for years. No more talking, no more talking, no more talking, no more talking. Yeah, I'm lost in a library of silencers tonight, searching for a word in the dim, dusty light. hung my coat upon the wooden peg. I poured a glass and drained it to the dregs. I'm standing in the kitchen where we used to dance, but I'm looking at the floor in a hollow kind of trance. The heat is humming, trying to fight the chill, but the center of the room is perfectly still. I check the love stand, I check the light, but something isn't clicking in the house tonight.
I see my shadow walking on the wall, but I don't feel the floor beneath me at all. I'm a tenant in a temple that's been stripped of its gold. I'm a story that's finished, but still being told.
And nobody's home, even when I'm here. I'm just a ghost of a man, girl, drowned in the year. The windows are clear, but the view is all gone. I'm just a pilot with no one to lean on. I can sit at the table, I can sleep in the bed,
But I'm living in the things that were never quite said.
you took the belonging, you took the sincere. Now nobody's home, even when I'm here.
I found your toothbrush in the back of the drawer, a tiny little plastic piece of a Civil War. I went to throw it out, but my head wouldn't move, like a needle that's stuck in a broken heart groove. If I'm still here, then why do I feel thin? Like a house with the windows all pushed tucked in. I'm a knock on the door that nobody hears. I'm a reservoir filled with a lifetime of tears. Is it a home if the laughter is dead? Is it alive if you're hanging by a thread? I'm a squatter in the rooms of a you and me, the loneliest side that a person can be. I'm calling my name, but I don't recognize the sound. I'm lost in a place So going through the motions year after year, nobody's home, even when I'm here.
I'm sitting on the edge of the mattress again, trying to remember how the summer began. The windows are locked, but the curtains still sway, and the ghost of a draft from when you walked away. I haven't opened the windows to let out the heat, or the scent of your sweater, so bitter and sweet. I'm hoarding the oxygen, holding my breath, in a house that is staging a slow motion death. They say just inhale, they say count to 10, but I don't wanna breathe if it's not you again. I'm living on scraps, I'm living on ghosts of the person who loved me the longest and most. And now I'm just breathing in your laughter air, finding your traces in the back of the chair. The molecules spin in the dust and the light. It's all that I have to get through the night. It's a hollow chest feeling, a thin paper love, tasting the words that we left on our tongue. I'm terrified to exhale, I'm scared to be fair. I'm surviving on nothing but leftover air. I found a stray hair on the collar of my coat, and it felt like a hand reaching out from my throat. Not to hurt me, but just to remind me of how space between us is a permanent now. I move through the kitchen, I move through the hall, but I'm moving through honey, I'm hitting a wall. The atmosphere's heavy, it's humid with grief, and there's no such thing as a moment's relief. If I open the door, will you vanish for good? Will the breeze take away everything that we stood? I'm keeping it stagnant, I'm keeping it still. If the loneliness won't, then the carbon will just stay in the molecules, in the gray, in the cold. Kettle whistles at 7 a.m. I reach for 2 mugs, then I set one back again. It's a reflex in my fingers, a ghost in my bones, a habit that doesn't know I'm living alone. I still check the weather in your part of town to see if the rain's gonna bring your mood down, but the screen just stays dark and the sky stays a blur. I'm serving a memory of who we both were. It's a liturgy of longing, a prayer to the wall. I'm waiting for footsteps to come down the hall. I'm keeping the traditions of a love that has died, keeping the door open just a crack on the side. And these are my unanswered rituals, the holy ways. I'm losing my mind. I'm lighting the candles, I'm setting the table for a ghost that I never can find. Every good night I whisper to the air, every seat that I save like you're actually there. It's a beautiful madness, a slow motion fall, living for rituals that answer to nothing at all. I bought your favorite brand of wine on the way home. I forgot for a second that I'm drinking alone. I went to tell you a joke that I heard on the street, then I tasted the copper of a bitter defeat. I still move to the left when I'm walking the dog, like you're walking beside me through the morning fog. But the leashes go slack and the sidewalk is wide. There's a hole in the world where you used to reside. Is it a sin to keep acting like you're coming back, to keep painting the colors on a canvas of black? I'm a priest in a temple with no God inside, just a heart that's too stubborn to admit that you lied. I'm bowing my head, I'm breaking the bread, but nobody's hungry and nobody's fed. The candle burns down to the wood. I'd stop if I could. I'd stop if I could. But I'll set the table again tomorrow. I'll pour out the sorrow. Amen. Amen.
Turn the TV off at 3 in the morning. The silence didn't come with any warning. I used to hear you breathing steady and deep, a rhythm that used to lull me to sleep. But now the pillows are canyons, the sheets are like ice, and I'm paying a lonely astronomical price. In the quietest part of this hollowed out room, a steady vibration starts to echo and boom. It's a thud in the mattress, a drum in my ears, the only clock ticking through all of these tears. It's too fast to be peaceful, too slow to be life. It's cutting through the dark like a dull-edged knife, and I'm stuck with the sound of my own heartbeat echoing off the walls and the cold wood floors. It's a lonesome parade on a dead-end street, still calling out a name that isn't mine or yours. It's the rhythm of a person I don't recognize, the engine of a body that's telling me lies. I'm screaming for the silence, I'm
I put my hand on my chest just to make it go still, but you can't fight the blood or the force of its will. It's working so hard for a heart that is broken, carrying words that we should have spoken. Every beat is a was, every pulse is a gone, a heavy machinery that keeps dragging on. I wonder if yours has a different tone now that you're sleeping and waking alone. It's a reminder, it's a burden, it's a witness to the pain. It's the thunder in my chest without the mercy of the rain. Why does it keep beating if it has nowhere to go? Why does it keep singing what I already know? And I'm stuck with the sound of my own heartbeat echoing off the walls and the cold wood floors. It's a lonesome parade on a dead-end street, still calling out a name that isn't mine or yours. It's the rhythm of a person I don't recognize, the engine of a body that's telling me lies. I'm screaming for the silence, I'm begging it to stop, but I'm drowning in the sound of every single drop. Thump, thump, thump. Left, right, day, night. It won't let me forget. It hasn't finished yet. Thump, 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 thump.
The door slammed shut an hour ago, but the air in the hallway is still moving slow. I'm sitting on a box in the middle of the floor, looking at the space where we don't live anymore. A shaft of light comes through the blinds, tracing the secrets that we left behind. And I see them dancing, those tiny silver flakes, floating like the promises and all the big mistakes. It's the skin we shed, it's the years we spent, it's the physical remains of what forever meant. There's no use in sweeping, there's no use in tears when you're looking at the fallout of 1,000 yesteryears. And I'm just watching the dust settle tonight in the golden remains of the afternoon light. It's falling on the shelves, it's landing on my skin, the quiet conclusion of where we begin. Nothing is moving, nothing is loud. I'm just a man, girl, sitting under a gray, heavy cloud. The storm has passed over, the wreckage is leveled, and I'm just sitting here watching the dust settle. There's a rectangular patch where the picture used to hang, the ghost of a summer and a song that we sang. I reach out a finger and I trace through the grime, drawing a circle on the window of time. It's strange how the world keeps spinning outside while I'm in a museum of a love that but it's hard to walk away when the atmosphere is gone. I'm breathing in the memories, I'm tasting the rust, realizing that everything we were is just turning into dust. Just us, just us.
The hallway's a canyon, the bedroom is a tomb. There's a heavy kind of nothing hanging in every room. I found your yellow toothbrush, I found a hair tie on the floor, and I asked them where you went when you walked out of the door. But objects stay so quiet, they don't have much to say. They just watch me fall apart in the same old messy way. I'm pacing through the kitchen, I'm talking to the air, I'm shouting at the emptiness of your favorite wooden chair. I'm asking, was it my fault? And are you coming home? But the answer is a ceiling that leaves me all alone. I've memorized the cracks, I've counted every stain, searching for a message in the patterns of the grain. I'm screaming at the plaster until my throat is raw, looking for a loophole or a hidden little flaw. But the structure is solid, the foundation is cold, and a house is just a box when there's no one left to hold. And I'm living with walls that don't talk back, bound by the silence and the shadows and the black. I can yell your name till the windows start to shake, but they won't tell me how much more I'm supposed to take. No echo of your laughter, no rhythm in the hall, just the cold hard comfort of a staring white wall. I'm losing my mind in a house built of walls that don't talk back. The pictures have been taken down, leaving ghosts upon the paint. Little squares of memories that are growing pale. upon the stair, but the wood is keeping secrets that it doesn't want to share. At least when we were fighting, there was fire in the room. At least the noise was proof that our love was still in bloom. But this quiet is a desert, this stillness is a blade. I'm a prisoner of the silence that you and I both doesn't feel. The hollow in my chest is the only thing that's real. I'm just leaning my head against the paint, waiting for a sound that I know is never coming back. No, they never talk back. The clock on the wall has a heavy hand, ticking like footsteps across the sand. I'm staring at the ceiling, tracing the lines, trying to read the stars and the hidden signs. I reach out instinctively, halfway through a dream, but the air is thinner than it used to seem. My fingers touch the linen, expecting your skin, but that's where the winter begins to crawl in. It's a vast white desert on the right-hand side, a place where a heart is nowhere to hide. I'm shivering under a mountain of wool, but the emptiness is what keeps the room cool. And I'm waking up on the cold side of the pillow, lost in the shade of a weeping willow. The heat that we gathered, the fire we made, is just a flicker that started to fade. I'm hugging the ghost of where you used to be, but the cotton and the down won't talk back to me. Yeah, the sun's coming up, but I'm staying in bed, caught on the cold side of the pillow instead. I remember the nights when the room was too small, when we tangled our legs and forget it was fall. Now I've got all the space, I've got all the room, but it feels like a house built inside of a tomb. The fabric is stiff and the covers are neat. There's no more friction, there's no more heat. I'm a stranger in a the floor, but they don't feel like you. They don't feel like you anymore. The frost is on the inside, the ice is in my chest. I'm just a lonely body in a permanent rest. The ice is thin. I'm freezing out. And you're locking me in. Just the cold, just the sigh. Nowhere left for a heart